Hello, my dear friend. This is Ajay Mishra, and we are discussing constitutional and non-constitutional bodies. And today we are going to discuss part two. So, as we have discussed in part one about the basics of the constitutional bodies, then let's go to the chart where we ended. And this chart is going to show you the composition, appointment, qualifications of different bodies which are constitutional in nature. So these bodies have been mentioned in the constitution, just like Election Commission of India, Attorney General and Advocate General, CAG, and who is called guardian of the public purse, and UPSC, and these are the constitutional bodies. Article This is articles in which these bodies have been mentioned. So let's see in the starting that Election Commission of India, it has been mentioned in Article 324, and Attorney General has been mentioned in Article 76, while Advocate General has been mentioned in Article 165. CAG, who is called Guardian of Public Purse, is mentioned in Article 148, while UPSC has been given place between the Article 315 to 323. So what are the compositions of these bodies? This composition of Election Commission is Chief Election Commission and other election commissioners. President of India can also appoint regional commissioners. So CC is not only, it is a multi-member body, that is 3 bodies we have already discussed. Attorney General, it is a single member. Attorney General is single member. He is also the advocate, you can say, advocate of the central government, while Advocate General is the advocate of the state government. Single member body, CAG is also single member body. He is just like CA, Chartered Accountant, we have already discussed. He is like Chartered Accountant. He should not be called as Chartered Accountant. UPSC, chairman, other members determined by the President of India. Then appointment by the President of India. He also determines the size of the Election Commission. And then Attorney General and Advocate is also appointed by the President and Governor respectively. Attorney General is appointed by President, while Advocate General is appointed by Governor. CAG is appointed by the President of India by a warrant under his hand and seal. So whatever his authority is, President, CAG is appointed by him. UPSC is appointed by the President of India. Now what is the qualification of these people? For Election Commission, nothing has been prescribed, so we don't know any qualification about the Election Commissions. He is generally an IAS officer. Qualified to be appointed as Judge of the Supreme Court as far as Attorney General is concerned, and then High Court, to be appointed as the High Court, ये qualification होनी चाहिए, and then he can become the Advocate General of India, Advocate General of the state. So for appointment of as a Attorney General of India, a person must have the qualification of a Supreme Court judge. CAG, no such criteria has been mentioned here. UPSC, half of the members should have experience under the government of India or state government for 10 years. At least 10 years experience must be to become the member of the UPSC. Now what is the tenure and conditions of service? 65 years. Election Commission and Chief Election Commissioners have 65 years or 6 years, whichever is earlier determined by the President. So either 6 years or 65 years. Attorney General at the pleasure, there is no such tenure, they can be removed anytime. CAG is also having 65 years or 6 years by the Parliament. And UPSC, they also have the same 65 years or 6 years for both members and chairman, and they are appointed by the President. So these things, you must prepare the notes on this topic, and this is going to help you in the examination, which is going to come within 140 days. So this is criteria for State Public Service Commission. For State Public Service Commission, article has been mentioned between the 315 and 323. National Commission for SC and National Commission for ST, it is article 338 and 338A. 65th Constitutional Amendment Act introduced this, and then 89th Amendment Act divided between National Commission for Scheduled Caste and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. Finance Commission has been mentioned in Article 280, we have already discussed, and then Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities has been mentioned in 350B, Article 350B, which was added by the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act. Why 7th Constitutional Amendment is important? 7th Constitutional Amendment is very important. Why? Because State Reorganization Commission was introduced. They gave their recommendations to create new states, and that's why it was decided that linguistic minorities must be protected, and that's why a special officer must be appointed for this purpose. Now, what is the composition of these bodies? For State Public Service Commission, chairman and other members, size is determined by the governor. For the National Commission for SCs and STs, chairman, vice chairman and 3 members. Finance Commission determined by the Parliament, and a special officer for linguistic minorities is a single member body. Appointment. State Public Service Commission is appointment by the governor of the state, president by warrant under his hand and seal. For the National Commission for SCs and National Commission for STs, the chairman and members are appointed by the president by warrant under his hand and seal. Finance Commission is appointed by the President of India, and special officer is for linguistic minorities is also appointed by the President of India. You must compare the appointment, you must compare the composition, and this is going to give you upper hand over others, because you don't need to work hard. Everything has been mentioned in this chart. Now, qualifications. For State Public Service Commission, half of the members should have experience under the Government of India, the same as UPSC has. National Commission for SCs and National Commission for STs, no such qualifications has been prescribed in Finance Commission. Parliament will prescribe the qualification for this. And Constitution is silent on Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. Now, what is the tenure and conditions? This is 62 years or 6 years. State Public Service Commission members are appointed for 62 years or 6 years by governor, while National Commission for SCs and STs determined by President of India, it is normally for 3 years. Finance Commission, it is appointed by once in 5 years, and on linguistic minorities, Constitution is silent. Criteria for removal. Election Commission of India is removed as a like judge of Supreme Court and others by President of India in consultation with the Chief Election Commission. So Chief Election Commission is removed as a judge of Supreme Court is removed, but other members are removed in consultation with by the President in consultation with the Chief Election Commission. So ground, what is ground? Proved misbehavior and incapacity. Attorney General, no procedure has been mentioned, and governor can remove him anytime. CAG as judge of the Supreme Court. So Finance Commission, members of the Chief Election Commission as well as CAG, they can be removed on the like manner as the Supreme Court of India. UPSC, President of India, ground for removal, adjudged as insolvent, infirmity of mind or body, or engages in employment outside office. Misbehavior, Supreme Court inquiry is necessary for the misbehavior. So grounds of removal for the UPSC has been mentioned here too. Now post-retirement jobs. Election Commission, no restrictions. Attorney General of India, he is not debarred from private legal practice. He can do because he is the advocate. CAG, not eligible for any job under union or state government. And UPSC, not eligible for employment outside UPSC. Members can be appointed as chairman of UPSC or SPSC. No reappointment for chairman of UPSC. No reappointment for chairman of UPSC. So you must note down all these things. So for Election Commission, no restrictions. For Attorney General, he is not debarred. There is no restrictions. CAG, not eligible for the job, and UPSC, they are eligible for the job only inside the UPSC. Now removal of SPS, State Public Service Commission removal in the same way as UPSC is removed. UPSC members are removed same way. National Commission for SCs and SCs, President can remove any time. Finance Commission is temporary body, every 5 years it is removed. Special Officer for Linguistic Constitution is silent. Post-retirement job, SPSC not eligible for reappointment or any other job. SPSC member can become chairman of SPSC or UPSC chairman or member. So they can be appointed inside the UPSC or any other post related to civil services in the SPSC or UPSC. For National Commission of SCs, no limitation, they can do any job. Finance Commission, no restrictions, and a Special Officer Language Constitution is silent. Now, non-constitutional bodies. As we all know, as constitutional bodies are mentioned in the same way, non-constitutional bodies are also mentioned in the constitution, has been discussed in different books, not in Bayer Act, but in different books. Whether when we study constitution, we also study non-constitutional bodies together. So Niti Aayog, NHRC, SHRC, CIC, SIC and CVC, they are the major non-constitutional bodies. Other bodies are CBI and other bodies also we will discuss here. So Niti Aayog, as we all know about the Niti Aayog, that this has replaced Planning Commission. This has replaced Planning Commission, and its nomenclature can be deciphered as National Institute of Transforming India. Now you can say with the name National Institute for Transforming India, what does this mean? It wants to transform India. Now how India can be transformed? India can be transformed only by having what? Center state cooperation. Only by having good governance. Only by having people's participation. Only by having participation of state and non-state actors. So Niti Aayog is going to collaborate with center as well as state. It is going to work as the facilitator, and it is going to ensure that there must be competitive federalism. As well as cooperative federalism. So Niti Aayog is one of the important bodies, and some more things we will discuss about the Niti Aayog, but the main purpose of Niti Aayog is to bring together all the stakeholders and ensure India's development. That is, it is going to promote the cooperative federalism as well as collaborative federalism in India. NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, you can understand National Human Rights Commission, it is fighting for the human rights, was established in 1993. Now, National Human Rights Commission is very important this year. Why? Because many cases have happened. As we know, J and K 370 has been repealed, and then you can say protest CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act protest जब हुआ था तो वहाँ पे many people were killed, and it was discussed that Human Rights Commission will also come to the front to investigate the matters. And other cases are there, just like communal violences are there, and many violations by the government are being done. And one more case was there in Naxal area. 12 people from a village were killed. So because of all these factors, National Human Rights Commission has become very important. In the same way, State Human Rights Commission, they are mentioned together. Let's go to the discussion on CIC and SIC, Chief Information Commission and State Information Commission. One more thing I forgot to tell you about the NHRC. New amendment bill has been brought in 2019, and there are some amendments in the structure of the National Human Rights Commission, and that's why it is coming in news. Chief Information Commission, Chief Information Commissioner, this, you know, this brings transparency in the governance. Transparency in the governance, it is the result of Right to Information Act, RTI Act. So they are ensuring transparency in the governance. And if information which is being searched by the people, if anybody is not giving that information easily, then they can complain for the central officer, they can complain in CIC, and for the state matters, people can complain in the State Information Commissioner's office. So this is important post, and some amendment has been introduced with the appointment procedure of the CIC, and that's why there is a lot of hue and cry in India. So next topic is CVC, Chief Vigilance Commissioner. This post was established in 1964 on the recommendation of the K. Santhanam Committee. K. Santhanam Committee told that for the removing corruption in India, there must be a post of Chief Vigilance Commissioner. And as a result, in 1964, this committee was established, but this was neither statutory nor parliamentary. This was created by the executive actions. That's why in 2003, they were given statutory status. That is, they were passed by the parliament. Now it is an autonomous body, free from executive control. So let's see something in detail. The foundation of Niti Aayog. What is the foundation of Niti Aayog? The foundation of the Aayog are as follows: an empowered role of state. An empowered role of states as equal partner in national development, operationalizing the principle of cooperative federalism. It works as a knowledge hub of internal as well as external resources, serving as a repository of good governance, best practices, and think tank offering domain knowledge as well as strategic expertise to all levels of government. So what they are going to, they are going to work as the facilitator. They are going to work as a think tank. They are going to prove that they are the repository of good governance. Now the third thing is that there must be a collaborative platform facilitating implementation by monitoring progress, plugging gaps, bringing together the various ministries at the center and the states in the joint pursuit of development goal. So you must understand that this is the collaborative platform. What is collaboration? Collaboration is always between center, between state, and between the non-state actors. So you must know collaboration means. So these are the foundation of Niti Aayog.